Call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call for a motion to approve the minutes of the December 10th meeting.
So move.
Second.
Move to second. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Motion to approve the minutes of the January 13th meeting.
So moved.
Can't be January 13th, that's today.
No, that's yesterday.
Yesterday, rather. Yeah, okay. Motion for the approval of minutes of the January 13th minute.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Public forum? No one for this evening.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda, please, Mr. President.
It's been a motion to amend the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
And we're moving, which motion?
I'd like to move motion number 5.15 up to the top.
Motion to amend the agenda to move 5.15 to the table. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Okay, the motion reads, be it hereby resolved that the Board of Education of the Ellenville Central School District does hereby authorize the superintendent of schools to file disciplinary and amended disciplinary charges against employee number 01142020 if after conducting a disciplinary investigation, charges are warranted pursuant to Article 3 of the collective bargaining agreement between the Ellenville Teachers and School-Related Professional Association, ETSRPA, and the district. Be it further resolved, that effective upon the filing of any disciplinary charges, the board does hereby suspend employee number 01142020 without pay for a period of 10 days pending employee number 01142020 selection of the due hearing process. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries unanimous.
What's the ringing?
Okay, we will go back to the regular agenda. There is no public forum. We'll move on to reports and correspondence. I have nothing for this evening. Board membership? Wayne?
Yeah, a few months ago, we authorized gentleman Gerald Berliner to do some work for us. I'd just like a report as to where we're at and what he's doing and how he's making out, please.
We'll get a report on Mr. Berliner's
And
activities.
I'll do a quick update also. Yeah, we'll get a full report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Other board membership? Iris?
I just wanted to mention, I don't know if all of you saw it, that the Capitol Conference with the legislators are coming up. I don't know if anybody's planning on going, but also to let you know that the Ulster County School Boards Association also holds an evening with the legislators. I think that's in New Paltz, if I'm correct.
Yes, and it's coming up.
And that'll be on January 30th. If anyone is pretty adept at speaking to legislators, you might want to look into that a little bit further. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anybody else this evening?
I had something.
Yes.
I just want to ask the superintendent if we can, at some point, set up that meeting about the Hall of Fame display and get that moving before we get too far into the future.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4.3, student representative.
All high school students are taking Regencies from January 22nd to January 4th. All grade levels from elementary to high school will be scheduling their Spirit Week the same week of President's Day. The High School Student Council has already began to organize the Winter Pep Rally, which will allow the class of 2021 to host a fundraiser.
Thank you. Anybody? Superintendent, Lisa Wiles.
Yeah, I have a few things this evening. The first thing I'll start with is I put a report, information at your place that was provided to me by Kermit Moyer. I had a meeting with both Mr. Moyer and Coach Kavanaugh regarding the football season for the 2021 school year. That would be the football in 2020. It's a proposal that Coach Kavanaugh and Mr. Moyer put together regarding continuing to play for the in the eight-man conference for the 2021 school year. I had some concerns about it and asked him to provide the supporting documentation because if you recall last year, we went forward with it, but there was concerns that we would be able to soon, if not this year, going forward in the future, return to a 11-man play. So I asked them to put, their justification and their information in here, so I'm not gonna, ask for input now because I think you need some time to go through the data, but they feel pretty strongly about us continuing on with the 8-man team. I asked, what they feel about the 11-man team, and I can have Mr. Moyer and Coach Kavanaugh come to the next meeting if the board so, chooses, as we did last year, to have them discuss the data. So really, the pleasure of the board, give me some direction, and we could do that. They're concerned about the safety of the players. They're concerned about the enrollment, the number of students that are coming, up. I did ask them, and I'd like them to elaborate for you, with the youth football program that we have, we should be seeing more players coming up, and they have data to share with regard to students that have been at the modified level and how many students, I think it's in here, have played youth football and then get into the modified program and decide not to move up. So I think it's better coming, the details you can ask them directly. So if, I could request that, and I can bring back whatever information you'd like.
Iris?
So I don't know a whole lot about football, but the report was really comprehensive. I'd certainly be glad to listen to them if people had specific questions, but I thought the report itself covered the territory pretty well. I mean, I leave that to our football fans to make the final decision, but I understood what he was saying in the report, so I don't know if he has to come before us or not.
I would like to see them at least come before us. I support the decision to stick with 8-man. We had success. It makes it easier to field a team. I have a couple of concerns over the reasons why they said that they were hesitant to go back to 11-man football. I mean, ineligibility is the number one reason. Certainly shouldn't be a reason to not field a team. Transfer or people who decide not to stay with the team once the season starts. I think those are all issues that need to be addressed.
So I'll invite him to come. At the next board meeting on January 28th, we have a presentation that'll happen with our architect and our construction manager, laying out the timeline and talking about the process with regard to developing plans and input. So they are coming on the 28th. So I have some really great news. Back in the fall, and we had mentioned to the board about this, we applied for a grant. Actually, we applied for a few grants this year. And the grant we applied for was a New York State Pathways and Technology Early College High School, PTEC. And what we applied for was a school within a school. So instead of sending our students to the PTEC program that already exists in Ulster County, that we be allowed to create our own PTEC program within our building. So students in our school district don't have to travel to Kingston. They don't have to spend their whole day up there and then have complications with transportation back, participating in athletics. So last fall, Dr. Corey, who's coming to an upcoming meeting, Jonah Shanker, who's the deputy superintendent, Mr. Bina Medina, and Mr. Pabon and I all went to the Newburgh School District, which is considerably bigger than Ellenville, but they have a school within a school. And we brought the BOCES grant writer. So to make a long story short, we applied for this grant, and last week we received notification that we have been tentatively awarded the grant in the total amount of $2,582,632. to be spent across 6 years. And this year, starting in January, is the planning year. So I just have to say that kudos to Dr. Corey and to the planning team here, because we really didn't expect, with the size of our school, that we would be chosen for this. So there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of planning to be done, but it's looking good that we'll be able to roll out some type of program here. Of course, and I'll include the award letter, we have to go through some, it's tentative because we have to jump through some hoops to get this done and meet some requirements. So we're not starting any work until they finalize this for us, but we did get the letter. So we're really excited that our students are going to have that type of opportunity. We just have to be very strategic when we plan because there are requirements that we match staffing. So we're going to make sure that all of those things are done. There has to be their own administrator. That's why the money's there, but we have to build capacity. So after 6 years, we have to be able to maintain this program when the grant money goes away. So this is good news, and I'll let Ms. Urbina Medina talk, not to steal your thunder, but I think we also got an Advantage After School grant. We did, so she'll talk about that. So there's two solid sources of funding that we've gotten that will enhance, programming here at the school. The last thing I want to report to you before I speak about Mr. Berliner's work is that I had a meeting last week with Brendan Burke and others at the Shadowland along with Mrs. Gillette. And the board's been having some discussions about our drama program, and we've lost a lot of volunteers over the years, especially last year with some parents of graduating seniors. And we thought that it would be a great idea to build some capacity with the Shadowland and try to work into a collaborative agreement where they could provide some services for us, in a contract that we cannot do ourselves, like providing choreographers, consistent access to set design, and they are willing to work with us. So we are in the planning stages now, and I'll have more information where we can enter into some kind of collaborative agreement, pay them some type of money to build our sets and store our sets, and they have great capacity there. They just took over the Napa building in the village, and we went over there. It is a great working spot. So, no, I made no commitments. We're talking at the very early stages, but I think it's a way to provide more support and really grow that program, especially when you have, we've been blessed to have the type of volunteers we have, but then sometimes when they move along, we lose a program, and we surely don't want to lose that program. So we're working on that. With the last thing we will have a presentation here. The Joint Committee has been meeting. There's a small group of the Joint Committee meeting, and then there's another meeting coming up, and we will send you the information. Mr. Berliner's first significant work he did was with the village with their website, and they are now working on more branding issues with regard to the school district. He has come to a couple of the events, and I will get a list of all the things that he's doing, getting some videos posted on the Ellenville sites and providing us with information. One of the things he'll be rolling out, and it will be to the board, and you'll be invited to a joint meeting of all 3 boards. We're talking about that getting going so there can be a report to all the boards to see what it is. But one of the things he's rolling out is a common or a type of logo or prototype that we can all use and modify. So I committed to nothing, but he has some general samples that he wants to show us, and they kind of emulated off the tree of knowledge that we have, but they're modified, and the board is going to see them. So there's some information moving along. The other thing I want to report along those lines that I shared with that committee, we are in the process of developing a list of alumni. And Ms. Phelan and Ms. Steinoff and the Alumni Association have been talking about this, really promoting graduates, alumni of the Ellenville Central School District, and promoting that in our newsletters, on our website, on Facebook. We're talking about finding these alumni, doing some biographies, nice pictures, making some poster boards, putting them in the community along the hallways here so that we can really show the public and even our students and our staff that there's opportunity to be had here and much success that comes out of the Ellenville Central School District. And using those examples, both local, older people, younger people, more recent graduates that have been outside of the area for a long time, and really promoting who we are and where those people are. So if anyone thinks of anybody, we're keeping a list, and we're trying to start, BOCES is helping us, trying to do a lot of research on, and I will share that list, if not the next board packet, the packet after that, to show you who we have. But we're well on our way to getting that situated.
Thank you. Assistant Superintendent for Business, Mr. Napoli.
I have nothing to report at this time other than what's in my report. I will entertain any questions that anybody might have.
Iris?
It doesn't have to be tonight, I know it's been a long day for you, but the Farm to School program, in your wellness notes, it sounds really interesting to me, so I'd like to know a little more about that. You know, if you want to share now and it's quick, or you want to
No, it's
share
actually
next
pretty
time?
extensive. I'll try to grab some more documents to share, and then
I'm glad to see that it's coming into the school.
yes,
So,
very
thank
excited
you.
about it. Hopefully, we get the grant. You know, it's not
Yeah.
guaranteed, but, you know, it's a planning grant that we've joined up with the Ellenville Regional Hospital to apply for the grant, and hopefully we get the grant.
It's great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
If I could just, Vince, I think one of the things that might go unnoticed by a lot of people in the community is the job that you do with the Christmas and this Project Santa and stuff like that. And I just want to say thank you. I happened to walk in as people were walking out, and it's just an impressive thing, and I think a great thing for our district. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you as well. Assistant Superintendent, Deputy Superintendent, rather, Ms. Angela Urbina Medina.
Thank you, Trustee Burns, for mentioning that, because that is a phenomenal undertaking that is conducted largely out of the business office with Mr. Napoli's leadership, and it's quite outstanding.
And not to neglect the job that you also did at Thanksgiving with the
It's true.
turkeys and all of the fixings there as well.
Yeah, kudos. I have nothing additional to report tonight.
Thank you. We'll move on to personnel resolutions for this evening. Under 5.1, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that the resignation of Eliza Espinosa, varsity girls outdoor track and field assistant track coach, be accepted effective December 19, 2019.
Second.
I moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries unanimous. 5.2, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that the resignation of Matthew Dom, JV girls softball coach, be accepted effective immediately.
So moved. Second.
I moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 5.3, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be resolved the resignation of Tricia Foglia Edwards, Director of Special Education, be accepted effective January 16, 2020.
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 5.4, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be resolved that James Fogarty be appointed interim Special Education Director at a rate of $750 per day worked effective January 15, 2020.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. 5.5, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that Amanda Seisenstein be appointed uncertified substitute teacher at a rate of $95 per day worked for the 1920 school year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. 5.6, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that Jack Wilson be appointed certified substitute teacher at a rate of $125 per day worked for the 1920 school year.
Second.
Been moved, seconded, discussion. All those in favor? Opposed?
I'm in favor.
Motion carries. 5.7, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that Robin Siegel be appointed substitute teacher aide at a rate of $84 per day work, substitute clerical, rate of $95 per day work, substitute cafeteria monitor, rate of $12 per hour work, and uncertified substitute teacher at a rate of $95 per day work for the 1920 school year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carried. 5.8, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be it resolved that James Sherry be appointed as a substitute security attendant at a rate of $15 per hour work, 1920 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved seconded. Discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? No one. 5.9, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be resolved that Jill Lindner be appointed substitute teacher aide at a rate of $84 per day work for the 1920 school year. Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be resolved that Miriam Handler be appointed substitute cafeteria monitor at a rate of $12 per hour work for the 1920 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 5.11, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be resolved that Ricky Jones, Jr. and Haley Gonzalez be appointed substitute cleaners at a rate of $15 per hour work for the 1920 school year.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 5.12, be it resolved that when the superintendent is absent and unable to be reached, the Board of Education authorizes the deputy superintendent to act in her place, and be it further resolved that in the building principal's absence, the Board of Education authorizes an assistant principal to function as the acting principal and may suspend students or conduct conferences to the same extent as the building principal.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Iris?
I would like to know if this resolution can be added to the reorganization, the resolutions we pass yearly in July, the reorg?
Yeah, it's on already.
Oh, it is? Okay, thanks.
Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 5.13, permanent appointment. Upon recommendation, Superintendent of Schools be resolved that the appointment of Christine Klein, account clerk typist, be made permanent following a successful probationary period of 6 months, effective January 22nd, 2020.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. 5.14, upon the recommendation of Superintendent of Schools, be resolved that the following elementary and high school extended day personnel be approved at a rate of $43 per hour work for the 1920 school year.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. And that is all the personnel resolutions for this evening. Under Art 6, policy resolutions.
Motion to move 6-1 and 6-2. Second.
6162, motion and seconded. Any discussion? Iris?
I just wanted to remind my fellow board members that as you read through a policy, if you have any interest in changing or amending that policy, that there's now a policy review form available to you. And if you want, it's actually on our Google pack here for you to make copies of. And if you have any suggestions, to please submit them to the superintendent's office. And then the policy committee will compile your suggestions. And we finally figured out that when you amend something, you have to vote on all of the suggestions. So we will compile the suggestions and bring them back to the board.
Any further
Thank you.
discussion? Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Under 7, budget
Motion
resolutions.
to move 7-1 and 7-2. Second.
7172, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Legal resolutions. Under 8.
Motion to move 8-1, 8-2, and 8-3.
8182 and 83 have been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one. Motion carries. Under 9.
Motion to move 9-1 and 9-2.
9192, motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
What's that?
I just want to make sure there are 59 IEPs.
Yeah.
That's correct. No further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Under 10.
Motion to move 10-1, 10-2, and 10-3.
10-1, 10-2, 10-3, motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? No one? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, the next regular board meeting is scheduled for January 28th, 2020. Mark your calendars. I'd like to wish our superintendent a very enjoyable vacation. Stop worrying. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? No one? We're adjourned.